How to become an insurance adjuster in the state of Florida in less than 2 weeks and less than $400, and you don't have to take a state test. Have I got your attention? Tune in. We're going to talk about this. Ashley Severe here with Severe RPMs Adjusting and Insurance Adjusters Academy. I want to share with you today how to get licensed in the state of Florida in less than 2 weeks for less than $400, and you don't have to take the state test. I'm going to show you the simple way. As most of you guys know, Florida is a reciprocal state, meaning if you have a license for the state of Florida, you can register all over the country, with the exceptions of a few places like New York, New Jersey, California, and maybe a couple other states that have their own independent adjusting license requirements that you have to go through. But if you have the state of Florida license, if Florida is your designated home state license, you just have to register with the other states that are reciprocal with Florida. So I want to share with you that if you are living in the state of Florida, you want to get a resident license with the state of Florida, and how to do that in less than 2 weeks, less than $400, and you don't have to take the state test. If you're getting a non-resident license, a 720 as opposed to the 620, which is the resident license, the same situation. So you figure out what's best for you. Of course, there's a lot of companies out there that wants to offer you different ways that you can do it, charge you over $400 or $500, take their state test preparation. You'll be ready to take your state test in about 30 days or so, or however long it takes for you to be confident. And then maybe not, you might pass it. But if you want to bypass all that stress and you want to get it in 2 weeks, let me show you how. I'm going to take you online and I'm just walk you through the process. So let's do it. Let me show you. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to make sure we go to myfloridacfo.com. Once we get to this home page, we want to click in the upper banner, Divisions and Offices. In the Division section, we want to click on Insurance Agent and Agent Services. Once we get to that home page of that division, you want to click on Licensing, which can be found here in the left-hand side. And underneath Agents Adjusters, you want to click on List of Licenses and their qualifications. You want to scroll down to the Adjuster section. Now here I want to explain the different licenses and how they would apply to you. I want to show how you're able to take a class that takes you less than 2 weeks, spend less than $400, and also not having to take the state test in order to become an adjuster in the state of Florida. So this would apply to residents of the state of Florida and also non-residents of the state of Florida. And this also applies to those who are residents of a state that does not issue an adjuster's license. It doesn't mean that you can do adjusting without a license, period. It just means that you're going to have to be qualified by a state that is reciprocal for the majority of all the other states in the country. And that's where you're going to be required to have a designated home state license, which is the 7020. So the 620 is for the resident, 720 for the non-resident, and the 7020 for those who do not that live in a state that do not have a requirement for an adjuster's license. States like Virginia, there's a number of all the other ones. I can't think of all of them. Blah, blah. So, for the 620 license, I want to show you the requirements for it. Of course, majority of licenses require you to be a natural person. Of course, make sure you're not an AI. That's at least 18 years of age. A resident of the state of Florida for a resident license, and a United States citizen or legal alien who possesses a work authorization form from the United States Immigration and Naturalization Services. Step number 2 shows you the prerequisites that you have to have. Either currently licensed as an all lines public adjuster, okay, you're exempt from the state examination, or you can fall under one of these other requirements: an original letter from one of the following institutions awarding one of the following designations. And the one I want to highlight today is the ACA designation, Accredited Claims Adjuster. That's what I want to talk about today. I'm not going to go through and explain what these other accreditations designations are, but I want to focus on the one that we're talking about today. So here, if you click on more designation information, it shows you the different colleges and universities that offers this designation. Apply for your license. You go back to the opening page that I just showed you how we got to the Polk State College. You're going to need to create a profile. You click on the My Profile button. Welcome to My Profile is going to open up. You click on Create Account, and the entity type that you want to choose is individual, and it would take you through the steps needed to be able to apply for a license. Now folks, the steps I just showed you and the course I just showed you that you can take for the Polk State College, that class is good for the 620 license, the 720 license, and also the 7020 license that I just spoke to you about. So if you go back, just to quantify my statement, you're going to click on the 7020, the designated home state, and here you find the same requirement. So that class is good for the 620 license, the 720 license, and the 7020 license. So you ask, okay, what's the difference? If all of them are the same requirements, you take the same class, so where does the difference come in your licenses? The difference comes in is when you go to apply with the state of Florida, you're going to select either a resident license, a non-resident license, or designated home state license. So just pay attention when you go to apply to make sure you make those required selections, and that's what's going to make the difference on your license. All the steps are still the same, still less than 2 weeks of processing. Of course, you're going to have to go through the signing affidavits, getting your fingerprinted, doing a background check. But still, all these can be done in less than 2 weeks. And once you apply for the license, the time that you actually apply, it takes them about, they tell you 30 days, but on a consistent basis, I've seen them process the application within 4 or 5 days, and you're licensed. Of course, you gotta have all the other needed information submitted as well, but you can get it done in 2 weeks, okay? So just a recap. Remember what we mentioned? 620 is for resident licenses. You live in the state of Florida. 720 is for non-resident, where you have a license in another state like Georgia, North Carolina, that offers licenses, but you need a non-resident license with the state of Florida. Okay. And then you have the designated home state. if you live in a state that does not issue licensing, you can make Florida your home state. And if you take this course that I told you with Polk State College and pass it, you will not be required to take the state of Florida licensing test. All right, this is not the same as in Texas. This only applies to Florida. I've heard of folks that take up courses with other people, and I ask them, when will you be taking the test? They're like, another 3 weeks. And then I tell them about Polk State College. In spite of the fact that they've already paid for the other courses, they go ahead and sign up with Polk, and they have their license in 2 weeks. And they send me texts in response, man, thank you so much. This is all free information, guys. Public information. So there you go. You are welcome in advance. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like what you've seen, hit the like button. Comment in the section below. Tell us what you think about the information, and hopefully you found it helpful. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there in the field. It gets real in the field.